Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my wedding makeup tutorial and tips. This month is my wedding anniversary month, it's the first one. Yay! So I wanted to do something special to show you what I did because I had a hard time finding the right makeup, and I think I did good for my wedding makeup day. You know I love makeup, so for that reason I wanted to do my own. I wanted something comfortable that it feels like myself, and I wanted something also alternative. I didn't just want the regular a little bit of something. So I came up with this look. I love plum lips, so I thought I would go for it. In retrospective, I wish I would have gone with something more darker, that way it looks more plum, because on the cameras and on the pictures that I got, it looks a little bit more fuchsia. So I'm gonna go close so you can see a little bit the look. I think it's very pretty. And by the way, I'm wearing my wedding dress, which is this one. Anyway, before we move to the tutorial, I wanted to talk to you about some makeup tips if you are planning on doing your makeup by yourself. One is, as soon as you know you're getting married and as soon as you have a date for your wedding, start finding a foundation. If it's going to be during the winter, you can have something more dewy and moisturizing, but if it's during the summer and you know you're going to be sweating, maybe then go for something more matte. So as soon as you know what type of foundation you need, then start getting samples at Sephora, at Ulta, and trying them. If you love a foundation already, then just stick to it, because you need a foundation that you trust and you know is gonna work for you throughout the whole day. So that's my tip number one. And as soon as you have that foundation, test it, in the sense if you are going for a new foundation that you haven't tested before, during your test time, take pictures. If you know it's gonna be outside, then go outside and take pictures of your makeup with flash, without flash, on the shade, no shade, but just take different angles to make sure that there's not a cast or it blends well with your body. Just do some tests to make sure your foundation looks good. Tip number two is start testing your makeup that you are planning on wearing. Choose a theme or choose maybe a picture if you have some, and start recreating that makeup look. My theme was rose gold, so I started looking for makeup that was mauvey and rose goldy until I found the product that I wanted to wear by testing it. And what I ended up liking the most was the Naked 3 palette, and as soon as I chose this palette, I started doing different looks, trying different colors, different techniques to see what was the thing that I liked the most, and I ended up coming with this look and just recreating it every single day to make sure, maybe not every single day, but just recreating it every so often to make sure I can do this same eye look again and again for my makeup day. Tip number three is eating. If you are already on a diet and you're working out and eating well, good for you. If you are not and you don't care about that, that's fine, but I think still maybe a month ideally, or at least 2 weeks, start drinking a lot of water and have a low carb diet if you can. If not, at least ditch the sugar and milk, because those things will break you out. They give you bumps, at least for me, and a lot of people do. So that's why I recommend it. Have a low carb diet and put some healthy fats, that way your skin naturally produces beautiful oils. So I found that it just helps so much for the application of your makeup, having a nice canvas. And tip number four, which is a little bit like tip number one, but one was more for foundation. As soon as you have your makeup how you want it and you recreated it, go again and go to the environment, like if it's gonna be outside or indoors, and start taking pictures with all your makeup to see, because you might need to add more maybe blush, because maybe on camera it doesn't look like you have that much blush, or your lipstick is really nude and on pictures you look washed down, or the bronzer just looks too orange on the camera, or just something. So yeah, test it before your wedding day, because pictures are very important and you don't want to be sad with them. So that's it, my tips for what I went through. If you have other tips, feel free to also leave them in the comments down below so people can read them and have some suggestions for their wedding day. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully I can try to help you as well. And let's move on to the tutorial. So for base, I've moisturized already my skin. I use the Glossier Moisturizing Priming Rich, and for foundation I use actually two. Both are from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Light Wonder Foundation, and this is the Magic Foundation. Magic Foundation is a satin formula, and what I like about it is the color and that it lasts long throughout the day. I really like how it wears down throughout the day, but I still feel it could look a little bit too satin for my skin, so I wanted to add for that day a little bit of youth and dewiness to the skin without going too much, and for that reason I use this foundation. This foundation is a little bit darker, so it added a little bit of color to my skin. So these two mix is the perfect skin tone. This one by itself, it's like a tinted moisturizer, so it has light coverage and it's dewy, and your skin looks healthy, but I still wanted to add a little bit of coverage, so that's the reason I mix these two. Have a pump of each because I don't need that much foundation, or at least I don't like wearing that much foundation. I'm just gonna look right now because this is my only mirror at the moment, the viewfinder. Now I'm gonna blend my foundation with a kabuki brush. This is synthetic and it's from Zoeva. You can go with a beauty blender, but I didn't go with a beauty blender because I think it's too much work going to the restroom and getting it wet and then squish all the excess of water, so I don't like that. It's too much time consuming, and honestly on a regular basis I just use a brush. So for your wedding day, if you're doing your own makeup, go for stuff that you know you like and you trust. Don't experiment anything new. If you want to experiment something new, go and do it 1 month or earlier before than your wedding day. That way you can test stuff. Don't do anything the day of. For concealer, I went for a dewy concealer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Retoucher. This is like those kind of clicky. I don't like heavy concealers under my eyes, so definitely for my wedding day I didn't want anything like that. So I just went a little bit. I think this concealer adds good coverage. It doesn't cover fully your under eye, but it has good coverage and it looks healthy, the under eye. So this is number 3 in case you want it. And yeah, I just blended with my finger. Again, if something works for you, why mess it up? For powder, I use another Charlotte Tilbury product. Her hair product line is amazing in case you haven't tried it. As you can see, I'm almost done. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish in number 2. And I like this powder because it doesn't look ever cakey and it's just very natural on the skin. So I'm just gonna go lightly and just put it on my forehead. On the places that I get oily, I don't like setting up all my foundation. These two foundations are great, so you don't need to necessarily set the whole face. So I'm just gonna under my eyes lightly. On my chin and upper chin and nose. Okay, let's move on to the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I'm gonna be using this for 2 reasons. One, I'm gonna use it for as an eye primer, and next I'm gonna use it for this awful sit that I have. So for that I'm just gonna go with my pinky, and I'm gonna go back with my powder and set that up. Now I'm gonna prime the eyes. Now I'm gonna go again with the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I'm gonna set that up very lightly because I still want the eyeshadows to pop. So I think that's it for the base. Now I'm going to move to eyes. So my palette of choice for that day was the Naked 3 eyeshadow palette. My theme was rose gold, so I wore kind of like rose gold nails. You've seen my dress from the preview or from the intro, so you know it had like a little bit of like rosy tone, a rosy mauve tone, so my theme was rose gold. So I thought this one was gonna look great. It's still natural, but with that edge, because I didn't want like the classic makeup look for that day. I'm gonna start creating some shape for my eye, and I'm gonna go with Nooner, which is this matte color on a blender brush from Zoeva. And the key to this makeup look, I tested it way before wearing it that day. So yeah, don't test any makeup look without playing with it several times, because you want to make sure you nail the makeup look every single time. Same color, and I'm just gonna go under my eye already. I just find it going right after that under my eye, it helps me to start kind of like shaping the eye instead of like putting it at the end. I had to charge my camera, and then I was looking at the footage and I saw how frizzy my hair was, so I rearranged it. So that's what we're gonna do. So next I'm going to use Liar, which is this beautiful mauve color, on a flat brush. So just putting it all over, I'm putting it all over my lid. I'm going to apply it wet to see how it looks, but that's not how I apply it on my wedding day, but let's try it. It's messed up, the nozzle. I don't know why. I think I applied too much, so I'm gonna dry it a little bit under my hand. I'm gonna go with the same eyeshadow. Yeah, it does look more metallic, but not a huge difference. Maybe a little bit. The other side with my dry brush. I'm gonna wet my brush again, and I'm gonna go with Boss just on top of my lid, that color Boss. I'm gonna match the other eye with the same eyeshadow. Right now I'm gonna go again back with the color Liar just under the front of the lid, in the inner corner again, just to blend that color with Boss. And I'm just applying it dry. Okay, so far that's how it looks. Now let's start dipping it up. For that I'm gonna use Dark Side, just lightly, and we'll start building it up to how we like it. And I'm gonna go on the eye side of my eye, going back again. I start putting it on my crease a little bit and dragging it outside my eye, elongating my eye shape. Okay, I think that's so far as much as I want it. We'll blend in a second. I'm just gonna match the other eye. And just with what's rest of on the brush, I'm just gonna go under my eye on the outside. So right now it looks very blocky, we need to blend, but I'm gonna blend with a clean brush. Maybe not so clean, but it doesn't have any more product, and it's the one that we use to apply Nooner. So I'm just gonna start blending those edges because we want it to look natural, a natural blend. I'm gonna go back with Boss again, but now I'm gonna go on my finger just to intensify the color a little bit. For inner corner, I'm going to apply the glitter glue by Too Faced because there's an eyeshadow in the Naked 3 palette that is a little bit chunky, so I want to make sure it stays in place. So I'm gonna apply in the inner corner of the eye. Now I'm gonna go with dust in this tiny crease brush. This is the one that is a little bit glittery. Patting it though. See? But it's very pretty. A little bit chunky, but it's pretty. So that's the inner corner. I think it looks very pretty. Inner corners with a little bit of sparkle for wedding days. Under my eyebrow, I'm gonna go with this angle brush, and I'm gonna go with Strange. It's a matte color, so we might add a little bit of something there later. I'm gonna go with dust under my brow bone too, a little bit. But I'm removing the excess of that dusting. Alright, so that's it for the eyeshadow. Let's move over to brows. I'm gonna go with the Anastasia Brow Wiz in color Ebony. It's a very tiny little thing. So I'm just gonna go lightly, just small strokes till I get the desired shape. So eyebrows are done. I'm gonna skip to the face. For bronzer, I use the Marc Jacobs in color Tantastic, which it came back this year, so now you can get it. It smells delicious, but I like this one because it adds a little bit of warmth, but at the same time it adds shape to the skin, and that warmth doesn't make you look super tan. It just adds a healthy warmth. I'm going with the temples a little bit. Going back with it. Carving the jawline. So that looks pretty, but I'm gonna add a little bit extra for the camera, just for the camera. But it still looks pretty in person. It doesn't look like too much, so just going with a second layer of bronzer. Okay, now that I applied the bronzer, I'm gonna back off, and see if everything is blended. I don't remember what blush I wore on my wedding day, but I think it would be perfect to wear this pink sand color, which is from the new Too Faced Natural Face palette. I think this is a beautiful color. I'm gonna go with a small brush. I'm gonna go lightly. I don't want a pigmented blush, just to add a little bit of color. Okay, back off to make sure everything is well. Yeah, I think it looks pretty. I'm gonna go off camera and I'm gonna apply eyeliner and mascara, and I'll be back. For eyeliner, today I wore the Stila eyeliner, but on my wedding day I wore the Kat Von D Trooper eyeliner. I love that eyeliner, so that one was the one that I went with. And I don't know if it lasts for a full cry, but I know for a couple of tears it does last. So if you find a good waterproof eyeliner, then go for that one. For mascara, I thought that was a very hard find for me. all of the waterproof mascaras, they just look kind of like, my lashes kind of like spidery, and I don't like that look. But what I ended up finding, and it worked for me, was this Tie-Line waterproof mascara from IT Cosmetics, and it's a 3-in-1 black primer eyeliner mascara. I don't know why it says eyeliner, but it has this tiny one, and I put it on top of the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara because I like this one, and I know they have a waterproof version, but it doesn't have good reviews, so I didn't even want to test it. So I went with this one because this is my trusty mascara, and then I went on top of that mascara with this one to cover the lashes because this one is waterproof, and I found it to work. I didn't really cry on my day. As soon as I thought I was gonna cry, I thought about like, Ali, you haven't tested this mascara, so don't cry. But I had a couple of tears instead, like watering tears, so for that reason it did work. I don't know again if like a full cry it will last. For highlighter, I wore the Cobra FX Custom Enhancer Drops in color Rose Gold, or color Blossom, but it's a beautiful rose goldish. So what I did is put a little bit on the back of my hand, apply a couple of drops on my cheekbone, and a little bit here. I think that's enough, and then blend it with a beauty blender, even though this one is from Real Techniques, so with a sponge from Real Techniques, and I just went ahead and blended. So that's it for the highlighter, just very natural and subtle per se, so you can apply more depending on your taste. Though this one in color Blossom, if you are lighter than my skin tone, is gonna look more rose, but on me, if I blend it, then it looks a little bit more of that metallic color. So I think it looks pretty and healthy, not too much. So lastly, lipstick, and I went with a alternative lipstick, and I went with the By Beauty in color Jam. I love plum lips, so I wanted a plum lip, and I love whenever they're glossy, so I went for this one, and I just apply it directly from the bullet and then blend it with a lip brush. So that's the lipstick. I thought it looked very pretty, and even though it's a plum color, I still thought it looked natural. In retrospective though, I think it tends to look a little bit pinkish depending on the light, so right now probably you can actually see it's a little bit pinkish. And I didn't test that, so some of the pictures after the photographer edited them, depending the type of treatment she applied, sometimes it looks a little bit in the like fuchsia color, which is still pretty, but that's not what I was going for. So in retrospective, maybe I would have used a darker plum, a straight plum, that way that's what it looks, while this one has sometimes a shift of like fuchsia pinkish color. It's still pretty, and I thought it was natural, and whenever I mean natural, it means like I still look like myself. So I'm gonna show you, so I'm gonna stop right now recording, and I'm gonna come back to show you the finished look. So I'm back. I put my wedding dress, which it's this beautiful, like it had this beautiful kind of, I don't know, sequins, do you call them, and then open back and some tulle, and so that's why I kind of wanted it with the rose gold theme. And this is the finished look. I went casual because I always have my hair down, so I just blow dry my hair, put a little bit of product whenever my wedding, and I just wore it like on the side, and I had a pin which I cannot find it. I know I put something in the back, but that's it. Like I had showing one ear, showing not the other one, and just one side, that way you get to see like the back. So this is the finished look. I'm gonna get closer. So those are the eyes, face, lipstick. So I like the lipstick, but yeah, definitely I wish I would have wore a darker, more plum color. So that's the finished look. I hope you enjoy it. I also hope you enjoy the tips that I gave you. If you are getting married, congratulations, and if you're not, good for you as well. Leave a comment down below if you did your own wedding makeup, or if you hire a makeup artist. Also, if you're not married yet, do you have any idea what you want to do whenever you get married? Are you gonna do your own makeup, or are you gonna hire someone else? So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.